In this lesson, we're going to give you some hints and tips on how to get acquainted and started with the permission setup in WO6 option. The first thing I would like to recommend is for you to go back to the professionals, I should say, and create a user test. You can add a new user, fake user, make sure that fake user is not set as administrator, grant access, reset the password, and have a fake user for you to play with the system first before you start using real users. Once you have that done, you can move forward to the permission setup. And the first thing I'm going to do here, just for the sake of training and making sure that you start getting acquainted with the new module, I'm going to create a group here called Basic Demo. I'm going to set this for all practices. In this, if you have just one practice, that's fine, but that's how you set up the same, that the group takes places for all practices. Make sure that your user test is not under any other group if you have already started playing with it by chance. Now that group does not have it, so that fake user should not be under any other group. Otherwise, you will not be able to identify if the permission is working properly. It's going to be confusing. Now that I know that my fake user is not under any group, I'm going to highlight that group. I'm going to set for all practices. And the way I would like to suggest for you to start with this would be for you to get and give permission to everything. So that group, all practice, they can do anything in WO6 option. That's a good start. It's not a problem to do that because only users under that group will have a permission to do everything. Now again, I'm giving you this suggestion for you to know and start playing with the permission setup accordingly. The next thing I'm going to do is to add the fake user to that group. Now if I start working with that fake user and I log in as that fake user, you should notice that fake user can do anything in WO6 option. Okay? So once you have that set, you can start revoking. Let's say that under tasks or in the task file. Let me do a different example. Let me go for reports. Under reports, in the billing reports, I do not want the users, the users under this basic demo, all the users under the fake demo. I don't want them to have access to aging accounts receivable reports. And I don't want them to have access either to end of period reports. So now the fake user should not be able to do this thing. So in other words, my suggestion here is for you to start with everything allowed, put only one user, see if that group is working accordingly to your wish. Next step, of course, would be to go right click and switch users and log in as that fake user and try to access one of those excuse me, one of those features and see if the system is blocking that for the fake user accordingly. Once you get to the point where it's working to the minimum point, then you can start adding your regular users to that group. But before you can start adding the regular users to the group, remember that those users should not be set as administrator. Any user that has this administrator setting will not be present in the list because they are administrators, and administrator by nature in the system can do anything. If you have particular user that is set as administrator, highlight that particular user. For example, this Dr. Stewart here, and you can grant access and just say, grant permission yes, set as administrator no. And when you go back to that user is no longer as an administrator. Therefore, the permission setup is going to be reinforced. So today you've learned how to set up, hints and tips on how to get started with the permission setup in WISE Option. Thanks for watching.